All right. Good evening, everyone. I'm going to give everyone some time to kind of hop on here as we go live. So, technology has been against me. As you can see, my video, I think, is coming through to y'all a little grainy. I can't figure out how to fix that because technology is just not my friend this evening. But super excited to do this webinar with you guys. Normally I do a lot of these, presentations in person, not so much online. And so this is my first time really kind of taking it into this format. So excited to share all of this information and knowledge with you guys. I'd love it as you guys come in, if you can kind of, drop in the chat where you're from. That way we know who all we're talking to. All right. Okay, got lots of Texas here, which makes sense. Florida. I'm from Florida. That's where I was originally from. Tennessee. That's where I moved to Texas from. That's where the state where I last lived. Oh yeah, Nashville. Yeah, that's actually where I was too. Let's see where else we got. Colorado. Wow. Is it cold there yet? Probably. It's still super hot here in Texas. Oh, California. My husband is from there. So that's awesome. But you guys are like 2 hours behind us. So it's not, well, yeah, it's evening there already, early evening. All right, perfect. Well, I think we're all kind of getting in here now. So I'm going to just get this party going and get to all the good stuff. So let's go ahead. I'm going to kind of share throughout the process a little bit about my journey and my story and what I've been doing since then to kind of try to help others. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so that you can see what we're working with here. All right, perfect. Are you guys able to see that okay? Yes. All right, perfect. So you guys know this webinar is about the 7 mistakes busy moms make that keep them feeling fatigued and insecure. So my goal is to empower fellow moms like myself to reclaim their energy and their confidence. And that's just what this is all about, and just sharing the love and sharing the wealth and supporting each other. So I hope that you guys will enjoy and find value in everything that I'm talking about today. So the main things that we're going to be addressing in this presentation are, the common challenges that we all face as busy moms, right? I know many of us in our mom journey have felt really tired, fatigued. When you first have your baby, that insecurity that you feel afterwards when you look in the mirror and kind of look at this new body, it almost feels foreign to you. And to try to get used to that, and my goal is to provide you with some practical solutions that you can use to regain your energy and your confidence through just some basic lifestyle adjustments. But there's a lot of other things. Obviously, this is a very multifactorial time frame of our lives, and it takes, I will say, a specialist or someone who's experienced it or has experience with it to really truly understand all of the different factors that are going into the ways that you're feeling, the things that you are experiencing or not experiencing anymore. And so we'll dive into a lot of those things, and also the wellness and the self-care component, which is super important. And so the goal is to empower you to, as a mom, prioritize your well-being, because if we are not physically and mentally healthy, we cannot do a lot of things for our loved ones, right? We can do that up to a certain extent, but at a certain point, when you no longer take care of yourself, you can no longer take care of others. So I really want you guys all to remember that. Okay. So welcome. Like I said, we're going to dive into some key insights and strategies to help you combat that fatigue and insecurity. I want to make sure you feel supported and validated in all of your experiences. So if you have something that I haven't covered and you want to drop it in the chat, I'm happy to kind of consult with you here as well and give you all of my insight and wisdom that I can in this setting. Okay, a little bit about myself. So my name is Dr. Stephanie Dunlop. I am a board certified ER physician. I do still work in the ER. As you can see, I still have my scrubs on actually from today. But as ER doctors, we do a lot of things on the side. That's just kind of like our personality types. So I used to be a professional dancer, actually, and I did, ballet up until I went to college, and then I actually broke both my ankles. It's a story for another day. But then I transitioned to doing more contemporary and modern dance, and that was my professional career. And I'm actually a crazy person. I do a lot of things at once, like I said, and I did that while I was in medical school at the same time. I know, Stacey, like I'm an insane person. So once though I finished residency, I moved to Texas, and I moved to an area where there wasn't really a lot of like culture or arts anymore. So I couldn't really dance myself. So I had to find a way to keep my body moving, right? Because I had been doing so many things, I couldn't go down to just doing nothing. So that's when I started to get into fitness. I have been doing, like bar classes and things like that for 5 years before that. That was something that I really enjoyed. It helped my dancing and my flexibility, all mobility, all those things improve. So I went to a studio where they had bar, but I had gone to Pure Barre, I'll say that. But I went to a studio because there was no Pure Barre there either. So I went to a studio, they had bar, they had bounce, they had cycle, bounces on the rebounder with the trampolines. Love that class. And so that's when I started getting into the world of other types of fitness as well. And I just really fell in love with it. I was asked to become an instructor there with them. And then kind of the rest is all she wrote because I fell in love with it. I continued to teach and do the group fitness setting. And then moved to Tennessee, kept experiencing lots of different studios. And I just realized, going through COVID, that movement is really medicine. The people that I saw who had the most difficulties with overcoming the struggles with COVID, unfortunately, were not very healthy to begin with. They were not moving their bodies. They were not eating properly. And COVID was a very isolating time. And so it was very difficult to see all of those patients, come in and know that maybe there's something we could have done on the front end. And yes, we as physicians all the time will tell people diet and exercise, but we don't create programs or help them create programs that work for their lifestyles, their budgets, the things that they need out of their life at that moment. Convenience. I always say convenience breeds consistency. So if you're telling someone to go to a gym and their closest gym is 20 minutes away, and they have kids and this, that, and the other, and they have no time to make that 20-minute commute back and forth, it's really 40 minutes, right? And then they get to the gym, they don't know what to do. They're overwhelmed. They look at these machines like, what? I don't even know where to begin. Okay, I know how to walk on a treadmill, so let me do that. But that's not enough. And it's not necessarily the right things for their body either. So people need that guidance. They need a roadmap. And so that's something that I really realized and something that I really wanted to create. So then I moved back to Texas with my husband, and we decided to open our own fitness and wellness studio here in Rochelle, Texas. It's called Club Movement. If you ever want to look us up, it's MVMNT, so movement without the vowels. But it is truly my passion project. It is a fitness and wellness center. We do group fitness, but we do one-on-one personal training. We do small group training. But it's important, I've learned, and why I broke both my ankles, going back to that story, to have wellness and recovery in your program. Most people, if you are taught, anything about movement and exercise, most people are not taught anything about recovery, wellness, and self-care, and how important and pivotal those are for our bodies to continue to work long term, right? So I wanted to create a one-stop shop, an all-inclusive place for people to be able to work out and recover their bodies. So we offer things like infrared sauna, muscle compression therapy, stretch therapy, massage therapy, IV infusions, injections. We do medical weight loss as well if it's indicated. I always say you need to optimize everything else before we start adding in medications, right? My goal is to keep people off of medications. We can do natural supplementation, we can do natural strategies, but my goal is to keep you guys off of medications or get you off of medications. And there's a lot of things we can look at to try to do that. And so my goal, like I always say, is I want to see you walk into my studio or walk into now my digital platform and consult with me. I do not want to see you walk into my ER, right? Because we have neglected these things and we've created all of these chronic conditions that now we're on all of these medications for, all because we didn't make the investment of either the time or the money back, now, let's say for you, or maybe it was 10 years ago, maybe it's 5 years ago. We're paying for it on the back end, right? Care is not cheap. We're also paying for it with our quality of life, right? So that's kind of, a little bit about me. Through my studio, I've helped countless women in my very position, navigate these exact struggles to lose weight, to feel strong, to feel healthy, to feel confident again. But after I had my son, which was about 8 or 9 months ago, I found myself in a very new position trying to navigate it myself, right? It's one thing to tell other people how to navigate it. When you go through it yourself, it's different. I worked out before my pregnancy a lot. I was very active. I was very mindful of my nutrition. And then even throughout my entire pregnancy, up until the week I delivered, I continued to move my body. I continued to teach and stay active. But once I had my son, you're forced to take the 6 weeks off, which we'll talk about. You don't really have to take 6 weeks off from all movement most of the time. Obviously, you want some clearance from your doctor, but there are lots of things you can start doing within the first week to start to get your mobility back, start to reactivate your core that is not harmful. And there's lots of things, within that first 6 week period, but a lot of people lose themselves in that 6 week period. We're not working. Our identity is revolving around our child. And it's a whole, especially if it's your first child, even if you're navigating a second child, you're navigating a whole new life, right? And so that can be very isolating as well. Hormones play a big role. A lot of people slip into postpartum depression and anxiety during those time periods. And like I said, movement is really medicine, but sometimes we need some supplementation. Sometimes we need to be looking at our hormones during this transitional period. And so, I realized I did get back to movement pretty quickly. I was doing all of the right things. I initially lost actually all my baby weight within the first probably 4 weeks. Then life comes back in, right? And I actually regained all of my baby weight back without a baby, right? How discouraging and frustrating is that? I was like, where is this coming from? And I realized my hormones, my stress levels with returning back to work with a newborn, trying to pump on shift with, critical patients everywhere. It's just a mess. And by the way, can we talk about, just for a quick second, I'm just going to throw in there, why is paid maternity leave not universal? I did not have paid maternity leave, so I had to go back to working much sooner than I would have liked. And I know a lot of women have experienced that, and you have declines in, your breast milk production. It's a lot of people have hormonal issues, depression, anxiety issues. But anyways, we won't dive down that rabbit hole today. But I kind of lost my train of thought there, because that's something I'm really, really intensely passionate about. But anyways, so I had to figure out, one, my hormones, two, nutrition is different. And if I cut too much, I couldn't provide for my son, breast milk wise. And then cortisol, stress levels, like those were things that I had to figure out how to navigate if I was going to lose this weight again, and stay healthy for my son. But I also had to make a mindset shift and realize my body is not the same. I'm going to say it again. Your body is not the same. It may never look the same. The mindset has to change. The mindset is not necessarily around a dress size or a weight on the scale. It is about how you feel. Do you feel stronger? Do you feel more confident? Are your clothes fitting better? Even if it's not that particular size, right? Because our bodies are going to change as we have children. And so we have to be willing to accept that and navigate these new waters and create a new normal for ourselves and a new goal. Okay. So that's kind of a little bit of my story in a nutshell. We'll hop into a little bit more here. So, like I said, our purpose today is going to be to identify and address, and I've kind of touched on some of them, the 7 most common mistakes I've seen busy moms make that are leading them to feeling really fatigued, insecure. We're going to learn some sustainable strategies to reclaim your energy and your confidence. And we're going to hopefully create and foster, a very supportive community atmosphere, which is what we've done at my studio at Club Movement and what I hope to now do in the digital world as well. So my first question for you guys is going to be, how many of you have ever felt frustrated by the conflicting information about weight loss after having a baby? So I will go ahead and drop this poll in the chat for you guys so that you can fill it out. So, think about it, right? Like, they bombard us after we have a baby about weight loss, about, I do use it in some of my advertising, but I kind of hate to do it sometimes, like about the mom pooch, about this, that, and the other, because like everyone is so different. And it's just very frustrating because they give like a one size fits all approach and it doesn't work. So let's see, keep getting those poll results in. All right. Okay, so I'm going to continue on and give you guys about another minute to figure that out. So yeah, like I said, we're going to dive into these things, these 7 big mistakes. Exhaustion and self-doubt are really prevalent, especially in motherhood. So before we add on trying to lose weight, like I said, we require a shift in a focus towards self-care and support. I need you guys. It's so crucial to demand this time for yourselves. You have to demand it. It cannot be optional, okay? Even if it's 15, 20 minutes to start. Create it, demand it, and don't let it be, it needs to be a non-negotiable, okay? Well, let's take a look at the poll. Okay, perfect. All right, so we've got 100% of y'all who said absolutely. So yes, I know, frustrating, right? So let's dive into it. So why is this all important? So like I said, fatigue and insecurity can lead to significant mental health challenges for mothers, which is going to affect not just your life, but also your family's life. We want to recognize these feelings as the first step so that we can create solutions that promote our resilience and overall well-being. We have to address the mind, like I said, before we can fully address the physical body. Okay. So my second question for y'all before we dive into this, how many of you have felt overwhelmed and lost since becoming a mom? Okay. Let me drop that in for you guys. All right, so go ahead and fill that out. I just like to get an idea of kind of who I'm dealing with. I would love to see that people have been feeling pretty great, but I know that that's usually not the case, quite honestly. So I am going to let y'all continue to fill that out. I'm going to move on to this next slide so we can start to break down these mistakes. We're going to explore these common pitfalls and recognize and address them and how we can manage them. Okay, so before we dive into this first one, let's go ahead and end this poll. All right, so we've got about 82% that said yes, it gets tough sometimes, and the rest are doing pretty great. So I am so happy for the rest of you guys at 18%. So let's keep it going here, and let's dive in and see how we can continue to optimize. Yeah. All right, so mistake number one, like I said, neglecting self-care. As busy moms, we always put others' needs first, right? This is going to lead to burnout. It happens in my field in the ER, it happens at home, it happens with moms, it happens everywhere, right? We don't take care of ourselves. If we're not prioritizing self-care activities, whether that's meditation, finding a hobby, finding a community, exercising, finding time for relaxation, finding time to sleep, these things all add up, and they will not allow you to lose weight. They will not allow you to feel energetic. They will not allow you to feel confident. They will eat at you every single day. You have to, like I said, demand this time for yourself. This is especially important when it comes to regulating our hormones, especially cortisol. This plays a major role in the lack of weight loss, especially that stubborn belly fat area that most moms I know are dealing with, amongst other issues. So cortisol is so neglected. And it's funny because you see like on Instagram and things like that, this viral cortisol cocktail and things like that. Like, yes, there's some natural remedies that we can do, but the most effective thing that they've shown to decrease your cortisol levels, self-care. Taking time to relax, to breathe. You know, in your postpartum period, there are lots of breathing exercises that actually help knit your core back together and decrease your cortisol at the same time. So 360 breathing, diaphragmatic breathing, look those things up for me, especially if you're newly postpartum or if you have diastasis recti, things like that. Or if you just feel stressed, take the 5 minutes before you go to bed each night. Take that time, okay? And do those breathing exercises. Feel what it feels like for your, core to knit in and feel engaged. Oops, sorry, my alarm's going off. And feel what that feels like to just allow everything to relax as you let it go, okay? You will be amazed at the benefits. You'll be amazed at how much better you'll probably sleep that night as well because you took that time. Okay, so that is my first recommendation for you guys. Mistake number two, we all have done it. Don't feel bad. Relying on fad diets, keto, intermittent fasting. I'm not even going to go down the list. This, that, and the other, right? They promise the quick results. You might get results. A lot of people get results. What happens afterwards? You gain it back because they're not sustainable, okay? We need to focus on sustainable nutrition with whole foods that don't break the bank, balanced meals, and enable our long-term health to be there without drastic restrictions, right? If you like cookies or cake or ice cream or whatever your thing is, do not take it away from yourself completely. That is only going to serve to feel like you're depriving yourself. And then once you take the brakes off and that diet period is over, then you just go crazy. And that is how we regain all of our weight back. So changing habits, which is the hardest thing to do, right? And it usually takes at least 90 days to change a habit and make it last long term, okay? So when we're doing these quick fad diets and we're doing it, 60 to 90 days, we see the results, we stop that, it's not even a habit yet, okay? So that's why people can't stick with it long term, but also because a lot of them are depriving you of the things that your body wants and enjoys. And whether we like it or not, eating for a lot of us is emotional, and it helps support our emotions. And those are things that we can work on and be more mindful about, but sometimes we need to let ourselves have those things. Okay. So mistake number 3 is going to be comparing yourself to others. Okay. Social media. I'm out there on social media. I want to be a representation because I don't look like the typical skinny, muscular person, but I know I'm strong. I'm confident in the way that I look. I've accepted my new body. And I know that I can continue to see results, but I know I'm just on a longer term roadmap, especially in my postpartum period. And I know the capabilities that my body has, and that I am 90% of the way to where I was strength wise, again, because I've just remained consistent. So social media creates a lot of unrealistic standards for motherhood as well as wellness. Like you see these moms running around, they do all these things, they exercise, they do this, that, and the other, and they're like, they make it look so easy. Like, why can't I do that? Stop comparing yourself to others. You have to create a plan that works for you, okay? Take the time, write it down, map out your day, and create some time, 10, 15 minutes. Whether it's a YouTube workout, whether it's a walk, whether it's dancing with your family, baby wearing workouts, stroller workouts. There's so many different things that you can do, even on the go while you're waiting for your child to get out of practice or this, that, or the other. Do some hamstring curls, do a couple squats. Like, those things all add up throughout the day, okay? We need to focus on ourselves, what our plan is, and our personal growth rather than comparing ourselves to other people. You have to recognize your unique journey, and you have to celebrate the little wins, okay? So celebrate those and enjoy them, okay? Whether it's today, I was more mindful, and when I took a snack in, I only ate one serving size of that snack. But I felt just as satisfied, and I could continue on with my day because I satisfied that craving, but I didn't deprive myself, but I was able to control myself, okay? We have to learn to control ourselves, and we do have to find a little bit of discipline, okay? Mistake number 4, this one I see a ton: overtraining and not allowing recovery, right? So a lot of people, they're like, oh, I'm going to get in the gym. I'm going to do all this cardio. I'm going to do all this strength training. I'm going to do progressive overload, all these different things. They're following these, YouTube programs or things they see on Instagram. When you overtrain your body, especially early in your postpartum period, this leads to a lot more fatigue, leads to a lot more injuries. It can actually lead to diastasis recti because a lot of people are doing the wrong things. And then and a lot of it is because those muscle fibers, you're just tearing them and tearing them and tearing them over and over until they break, okay? And even people who haven't had a baby, even just women in general, that overtraining leads to a lot of injuries because people are not taking their rest periods, they're not recovering, and these are essential components of any exercise program to help prevent burnout of your body and promote muscle recovery so that we can continue to stay active long-term. I need you to recover your bodies so that you are not on the walkers, you are not on the canes, you're not needing all these knee replacements, things of that nature. Not to say that we can avoid all those things completely, but we can put them off for a whole lot longer if we are doing these things properly and appropriately. So find some recovery. Whatever is most appropriate for you, whether it's stretching. So many people neglect stretching after workouts. Please stretch before and after, even more afterwards, okay? Some people do cryotherapy, the infrared sauna, muscle compression therapy, meditation even is helpful, but you have to take the time to allow your body to recover, okay? By the way, overtraining also leads to more cortisol, less weight loss, more belly fat, okay? Link that all back together. So mistake number 5 is going to be ignoring your hormonal health. I've seen so many women who feel like they've optimized their fitness, their nutrition, and all these things, but because of their hormones, which they haven't had assessed, they are unable to really lose weight or see any changes. They stay fatigued. They continue to gain weight. They have all these mood swings. And understanding these hormonal pathways is what is going to empower a lot of moms that I see to be able to seek the appropriate and most customized solutions for you to maintain your energy and your well-being. So this is one of the biggest mistakes I see moms making on a daily basis. For some, no progress will ever be made until their hormones are addressed and regulated, okay? And I see that way too frequently. So that's something that I can definitely assist with. It's a little difficult to dive really deep into all the science of the hormones on a webinar like this. If there's any hormone specifically you guys want me to talk about or do another webinar about, I'm happy to do that. Just drop it in the chat, and that way I'll know. And we can plan for that. But estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, cortisol, thyroid, those are your big five, okay, that will play a role in all of this. So if you haven't had those checked with your provider, do so. I also have a way for you to have those checked as well that I can send you. So just be sure to drop it in the chat if you're interested. They're very simple and easy, a lot of them, to do anywhere in the nation. So just let me know. I'm happy to help. So we'll leave it at that for now, because I can get really down a rabbit hole with that one. But mistake number 6 I'm going to talk about is lack of support and community, right? The postpartum period is very isolating. It can really significantly affect our energy levels and our confidence. Building a supportive community where you have other moms who can relate to what you're going to, you can share, you can motivate each other, and having that collaborative space is really important, I found, for health and wellness, especially at my studio. You know, they come in, they support each other, they hold each other accountable, they help each other out and share different tips and tricks that they've learned, but they've helped push each other to the finish line each and every class or whatever we're doing, all right? So find your support and find your community and find it outside of your home, okay? Yes, if you do have a partner, they can be supportive, they can be great, but your whole community cannot be within your home, okay? That will isolate you, and you will start to feel fatigued. You'll feel confident. You'll feel not so confident. You'll have self-confidence issues. You just feel isolated. You feel unmotivated, right? We don't feel encouraged anymore, and it will allow you to slide down this very slippery slope, okay? So especially if you have postpartum depression, anxiety, you're really not going to feel like leaving the house. Find a community, okay? Mistake number 7, and our final one here, is going to be setting unrealistic goals. Like I said at the beginning, right? Your body may never look the same. Your goals may not be the same and may not be able to be the same as before you had a child, okay? Your body is a miracle. It did a wonderful thing. It brought a child into this world, but it is going to change your body, okay? When you try to think about, oh, I want to lose my postpartum weight and I want to look exactly how I looked, when I was 20 or whatever age you were before you had a baby, or even further back than that, those unrealistic goals will lead you to feelings of failure and frustration. I've seen it time and time again. Set small goals, celebrate the small wins, and foster your sense of accomplishment and continue to encourage yourself along your journey, okay? Whether it's, okay, today, this whole week, I drank my water that I was supposed to hit, my water goal, whatever that is. That's a small win, okay? Whether it's, I feel like these pants are a little looser, celebrate the small win. Even if the scale doesn't change, let me say that again. If the scale doesn't change, it doesn't matter, okay? Your weight may never be the same. Your body may never be the same. Change your mindset, okay? Our goal is what, right? Why? Why are we doing this? For our families. Yes? Whether you have a partner, your children, your child, whatever that situation is, to be able to be with them long term. So what's most important? Being healthy, being strong, being able to keep up with them as they run around the house as they get older, being able to see them have their children, being able to see them in their sports activities and be able to help encourage them as they do that. Being able to, what else? There's so many reasons why. Being able to not be on all these medications, being able to not have to go into a nursing home, being able to not have to be on a walker or a cane, like being able to have a different quality of life, okay? As you move forward. I've just seen it so many times in the ER that people regret not making the changes that they need to make. Okay. I'm going to get real morbid for a second. In the ER, the main thing that I see when people are on their deathbeds and that they are concerned about is their regrets. Okay? The things that I wish I would have done years ago. The investments I wish I would have made in myself years ago. The risks I wish I would have taken years ago. Okay? Don't let that be you. Okay. All right, I'm going to get off my high horse for a second. So question number 3 that I'm going to throw out there for you guys. What emotions come up for you when you think about your weight loss journey? Do you feel empowered or do you feel discouraged? Okay. So that's kind of what I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear where you've been at on your journey so far. And hopefully you're feeling empowered, but honestly, I know that's not the case for a lot of us. And if you came here today, probably having some issues with feeling discouraged a lot of the time, and you're not making progress. Okay. So I'm here and I'm happy to try to help guide you as much as I can in that. And so, kind of on that note, I do want to introduce you guys to Mamas on the Move, which is my digital platform. It's a transformative, it really is, y'all. I've seen some amazing results coaching program. It's tailored for busy moms. It focuses on community support, personalized, customized strategies, like I was saying, and it is going to address those unique challenges faced by moms in reclaiming their health and their confidence, okay? So I'm going to, before we dive into that, I'm going to just take a look at this poll here. Let's end it. Okay. 96% discouraged most of the time. So, I mean, what I was expecting, but it's still sad and it's discouraging for me. But I want to help with this, okay? So Mamas on the Move. So with Mamas on the Move, it's a 12-month roadmap that I've created for moms, right? In phase 1, we kickstart your movement. We establish the foundational habits that are necessary for your success. We do personalized fitness assessments. You're doing 2 to 3 low-impact workouts per week where we're preserving our joints. We're creating on-the-go, convenient, consistent exercise, simple habits-based nutrition tips. There's no eat this many calories a day or trying to restrict you from things or deprivation. And we do weekly check-ins, okay? We have a whole community with this as well. Phase 2, we accelerate your movement. That's months 4 through 6. We're going to increase the intensity and consistency of your workouts. And I forgot to mention our workouts do include baby wearing workouts. They include stroller workouts. They include on-the-go workouts. They include things you can do all at home. Convenience breeds consistency. That's what I go with. Enhanced nutrition strategies that we focus on mindful eating. We do customized nutrition plans based upon the things you love. I'm not going to deprive you of the things you love. We're going to do some monthly workshops based upon wellness and self-care topics to refine your fitness journey. Phase 3, we're going to start to sustain your movement. That's months 7 through 9. We continue with the 3 to 4 workouts a week. We add some variety. We continue to refine the nutrition habits because this is a long-term plan, right? And it's something I want to be able to continue to do long-term. We have community engagement activities where we're going to reinforce motivation and continue to hold each other accountable. And then finally, we have phase 4, where we're going to elevate your movement in months 10 through 12. And this final phase is going to celebrate and reinforce your progress. We're going to do a comprehensive assessment. Throughout the process, we continue to assess and reassess. And a couple things, that I haven't mentioned is that we include lab evaluation because that's important. We're going to assess your hormones. We give you customized supplement recommendations. We continue to reassess those every 3 to 6 months as indicated. And then our nutrition can also hone in on things where we need supplementation, okay? Because we have the labs to back it up, right? I always say we're going to test, we're not going to guess, okay? So that's important. We're going to focus on mastering your nutrition for long-term wellness and participate in a group celebration of all of your achievements, right? But most importantly, in this last phase, we are going to create your long-term roadmap, okay? You're going to know how to do this by yourself, okay? Which is important. You don't need to have to pay me for the rest of your life to do this, okay? And so once you've created these habits and they are long-term and they are consistent, you can continue to do this. Now you can continue always. We love for you to continue to be a part of the community and continue with us. But we have you do have the option to continue to do this on your own. But I know lots of people love to just continue just for the community and the accountability and just kind of sticking with everybody. Okay, so our program features here, like I said, you're going to get a personalized, customized fitness plan based on your goals. What days do you need to work out? What options do you have on those days to work out? Do you need an on-the-go program? Do you need a baby wearing program? Do you need a stroller walk program? What exactly do you need to fit it into your schedule in your life? Okay. We're going to get weekly check-ins and adjustments with me as your coach. So weekly, I'm checking in with you. We're adjusting the plan as needed. Personalized nutrition plans. Like I said, that first 6 weeks, we do a nutrition kickstart. We're focused on changing your habits because we need to change your habits and your mindset before we can stick you to any kind of meal plan, so to speak. Because if we don't change the habits, like I said, like we stick to a meal plan, and then as soon as we feel deprived or we're kind of going to a different place and we start to binge and do those things that we don't want, okay? We also include your lab evaluation. That includes your hormones. It includes customized supplement recommendations so that we can really maximize your results in terms of fatigue, in terms of sleep, in terms of reducing belly fat, in terms of preserving or increasing muscle mass, depending upon what your goals are. You get community access to our Mamas on the Move community. And then you as you progress through, when we feel like you're ready, because in the first phase, especially if you're newly postpartum or you have diastasis recti, I do have a 6-week postpartum core rebuild program, okay? So I'm not going to have you do anything that is not going to positively affect your core and the things that we need to put back together first, okay? So everyone, unless they don't have any significant issues, which most of us do and don't realize it, is going to have to go through that phase first before we start throwing you into all of these crazy exercise plans. Not to say that they're crazy. We keep it pretty low impact, but effective and efficient. But we do increase the intensity as you go along. And at Club Movement, where you're going to get access to this on-demand library of our classes, we do, we're at a more intense level for many of those classes, but we do give options in all of our classes. So you'll have access to that. And then one thing I'm really excited about is our innovative wellness bank. Okay. So I love this because sometimes we have to be forced to do the things we need to do, right? So our wellness bank is basically a portion of your investment in the program is set aside every month for you to reinvest back into yourself with self-care activities. A lot of people choose to do massages. I'm going to go get a manicure and a pedicure. I'm going to go do this, that, and the other. You have to take the time at the end of the month, and that activity has to be approved by us or by me so that you are forced to take care of yourself. Okay. Sometimes we need that. Maybe you would have done it anyways, but either way, that money is there. You can't get to that point and say, I don't have the time, or I don't have the money, or this, that, and the other, right? When those funds are released, you will use them on yourself, okay? So I love that. The other thing I'm super excited about is we as moms, we're so busy. Sometimes we're the breadwinner, sometimes we're not. Sometimes we're stay-at-home moms, but it's always great to be able to have some way to create side income that's fairly passive and maybe doesn't take a lot of our time. And so I am currently in the process of developing the side income corner. Super excited about all the things that are going to be in there. So there's going to be lots of options to discuss things like digital marketing, real estate, owning your own small business, doing things completely online, like website flipping, Amazon reviews, TikTok shop, things like that will just allow you to maybe be able to bring in some more income for your family. And so that's always super helpful, and also obviously helps offset your investment in the program as well. So super excited to be able to start to offer some of those things. But basically, as you can see, if you add all of those things up, the total value is coming to $1,500 a month, which is crazy, right? It's not super crazy. A lot of people pay that, especially to personal trainers and things like that. and this is a 6-month program that we're starting out with. Like I said, there's a 12-month roadmap. I feel like for most people, 3 months is too short. Like I said, 60 to 90 days to create the habit, and then we need to continue it. So 12 months is great. We'd love to have everyone for 12 months. If you're interested in the 12-month program, just drop 12 months in the chat or email me, and I'm happy to give you the full 12-month roadmap, because I think that is so well thought out and you guys are going to love it. But 6 months is long enough for us to be able to start to see results and start to really change some habits. And so that's where I wanted to start, especially as we're launching, so that we have people who are in it, who are ready to be consistent long-term, who can really start to build this community, and who we can really start to help motivate and encourage each other and hold each other accountable. Okay. So $9,000 is not what I'm going to charge you. Okay, guys. The regular price for the program is going to be $2,400. Okay. But because you're on this webinar right now, I decided to do something a little crazy. So the total value is $1,500 per month. Let's take $900 off of it. We are going to give it to you for only $1,500 total. Okay. So we're going to save you $900. Okay. So $1,500 over 6 months. I can't do math. What does that come to? I'm like, let me get my calculator. $250 a month. Where else can you get this level of customized fitness, nutrition, lab evaluation, hormones, wellness, self-care, all of this planning done for you, weekly check-ins, like with a personal trainer, for only $1,500, y'all? To be able to offer it at this price and make it accessible for everyone, I did have to take it online. And that is the main reason why I'm doing this, is because I want to be able to offer this to more moms. Okay. So if you're interested, I am going to go ahead and drop that link in the chat for you guys. There you go. Okay. $1,500. What questions do you have? Payment plans. So yes, like I said, I wanted this to be as accessible as possible. If you click on the link, there are options for Affirm, Afterpay, Klarna, things like that, where you can do a payment plan and get this. Now, one thing I forgot to mention is, because I'm offering it at such a low price, I only have 5 spots. Okay. I only have 5 spots available this month. And that's because I really want to be able to be in deep with my clients. And we're going to dive in deep with you, and I need you to be along for the journey with me. And I want to make sure I'm able to really give the level of support and accountability and customization that I need to. And I want to take my time with my clients. So I only have 5 spots available, and I'm only offering this price at $1,500 for the next 24 hours after you watch this webinar, because I know some people are going to watch the replay. So you got 24 hours to take action. Remember what I said. I don't want you to have regrets. Okay. Don't make the investment now in yourself and then have to make the investment later. Okay. With your quality of life, with the way it affects your family, with the medications, with all these things, y'all. Let's create this community, and let's be strong. Let's be confident. Let's have energy again. Let's imagine that life for yourself. And what is that worth to you? Where can you take things maybe out of your budget? Starbucks here and there. I don't know, eating out. Like, what things can we do weekly? That's $50. All right, no, it's a little over $50. A little over $50 a week to be able to make this happen. $60 a week. Okay. And remember, with your nutrition plans and things like that, I'm not going to give you things that break the bank. We're going to stick with your things that fit into your budget and your lifestyle. Okay. So I don't want you to worry about that either. I think that was another question that just popped up. So, yeah. What else? Okay. So yes. So the postpartum plan is included. That 6-week postpartum core rebuild is included completely in the program. And so you'll get access to all of that. What else, y'all? Oh, yes. So we do take into account, obviously, it is a customized nutrition plan. So any kind of dietary restrictions, allergies, intolerances, but also things you love are going to be included as well. Okay. What else do you guys have for me? The wellness bank. So that it changes from month to month. So as you hit your milestones and you stay consistent, the wellness bank does increase your contributions, kind of a reward for yourself as well, that you have more money to use. Okay. What else do you guys have? Let's see, you guys want to come back to look at this? Yeah, so these are all of the things that are included here. Yeah, and those weekly check-ins with me are via video, and you do have an accountability form you have to fill out weekly for me to be able to do those check-in videos with you, so it does help hold you accountable as well. Also, guys, drop in the chat anything you want to see in the side income corner, right? If there's something you want to learn about, I want to make sure we give you access to that. All right. So I think that is predominantly all of the questions here so far. If you have any other questions and you're watching the replay after this, you can also drop those in the chat and it will email them to me and I will still be able to answer your questions. You also don't hesitate to do that, even if you're not on here live with us. Yeah. Any questions about the mistakes or the hormones or any of that stuff, be sure to drop it in the chat as well. Super excited to be able to help you guys. I am going to drop my email in the chat as well. Well, actually, if you guys just drop it in the Q&A section of the chat, all of those questions will come directly to me, and then you'll have direct access to my email as well. So yeah, guys, hopefully that was super helpful today. I'm really excited that we got this webinar done and it was really fun. Thanks for joining me. If you have any questions or feel like you need some customized guidance, if you want to book a one-on-one call with me, completely free, we can talk through your situation and see if it makes sense for you too. But remember that this offer that is out there is only valid for the next 5 people in the next 24 hours. Okay, so make sure you take advantage, be an action taker. That's who I'm rewarding right now are the action takers, because I know you want to change your life and I know you're ready to be consistent. I know you're committed, and those are the people we want in this program. Okay. So make the commitment to yourself, and I can't wait to see you in Mamas on the Move. Bye, y'all. Have a great evening.